Bror Fredrik coming at you with another live video from my studio here in Las Vegas. Here we are once again. We had a great members-only live stream yesterday. If you're a member, go in your YouTube account and go check that out. There'll be a notification there. It was fun. There was about 35, 40 people on. It's got about 130, 40 views right now. So we had a good time, a relaxing Sunday. But before we get started, we got some stuff to discuss. Let's see, we're going to go over some Las Vegas news, and you saw the thumbnail. We are going to discuss how much Las Vegas casino workers actually make. And I've been saying for quite a long time that it's not that much, and we're going to do a little deep dive into it, but just to show you, just in case you're thinking about moving here, maybe getting a job there. We're curious what the pay scale is at the casinos, how the people who are actually serving you are getting paid throughout this MGM cyber attack. What do these people have to put up with, and for how much? So I thought that would be an interesting topic. And then at the end of the video, stick around. I'm going to show you something that I picked up, something that I've been using for a long time. Mission Darkness Faraday bags. And that might just save your skin. But we'll get into that after. But first, I'm going to invite you to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell button to get notified when I do this again, which is at least 5 times a week. And if you'd like to support the channel, super chat while we're live, super thanks after. You can click on any of those links that you see down there. There is a Prime Day coming up. It's like a pre-Black Friday Prime Day. I think that is October 1st and 2nd, or 2nd and 3rd, one or the other. I got the notification, so you might want to load up your cart and see what's what. I got mine loaded up. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. Prime Days being what they are, they sell the things that they want to sell, sometimes not the things I want to buy. Sometimes I get great scores, so check all that stuff out. And if you want to get involved in the members-only live streams, you can become a member. Join me on Patreon. I got the Cash app, Venmo, I got all the stuff. But first, let me say hello to a few people. Let me see who's who and what's what. Whoa. What are they talking about here? Consumer? They know what we've been talking about. I'm getting an ad for consumer credit card protection. Yikes. Did you guys see the video? I hope you did. If you're new to the channel, go back and look. I did a separate cut of the video I did with Steve, security expert, discussing all the things that transpired or are transpiring and might have transpired over at MGM and Caesars. I made that into a separate video. I condensed it down the best I could. It's still about an hour long, but it is packed with information. That went up today. Like I said, it discusses my clear membership is expiring. No way. I got to get back on that. Speaking of identities, so you'll learn some things also that'll help protect you in the future with your identity. Probably a lot of things you didn't know. So you're going to want to check out that video. Let me like my own video. Let me fire up the chat. What do we got? 99 people. All right. I'm not going to sit still until we hit 100. No. I'll crack open some Pellegrino. Pellegrino. Hook me up, bros. Who distributes them? I gotta send them a letter. See if I can get any on discount. Because it is good stuff. It wets my whistle. The carbonation keeps my throat from drying out from talking like a freak, so that's awesome. Oh, we hit 101. All right, now I can say hello to people. Wait, I saw a super chat. Yo, kicking off the super chat. What up? With the two Bananaramas. Happy Monday, Broad Nation. With a big this and a big that. I see you out there doing your thing. That's good. Sylvia, Angie, Kyle, Stuart, Edward, Maria, Sony, Jim, Daniel. So I'm going to give you a share, like, and a subscribe, and hit that bell. I appreciate that. That is awesome, Daniel. That helps the channel. It helps push it out into the real world. Not that this isn't the real world, but, New subscribers are always awesome. Angie, Chris, Nat, and Frank, Tom Mack, Janice, Mary, Francis, Marie Bella, Venus is in the house. Who else is here? I'm going to keep them going because I'm in the mood to do it. We got some interesting stuff to cover, though. You're going to want to see this. N90, Val Marie, I'm getting all the hellos back. I like that. I like you greeting each other. Miss Google is in the house. Always a pleasure. Bert, Gigi, Chanel for show. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see if I got. Yeah, we got a bunch of people on. That is absolutely awesome. Janice with the gifted membership. That is absolutely awesome too. I think I might hold one more open to everyone members only stream. I'm debating it. I might do it if there's a demand. Like I said, there was like 30 or 40 people there. I don't know. I haven't done a deep dive into the statistics to see who's the base member and who's like tiered up a little bit. So we shall see. I might do one more, but we'll talk about that later. I don't feel like talking about it now. It's part of Nestle's Pellegrino. I did not really. Should I be drinking stuff from Nestle's? I don't know. I like it. Let's see. Laren's in the house. Keith, Rory, Kai. Let's see who else. Oh, was I Kai? I don't think so, bro. But adios. Let's see. I think I'm just about caught up. Wannabe is in the house. All right, we're gonna jump right into it. Okay, so we're gonna go over to the other computer on the other side of the room on the other camera because you saw the thumbnail. I want to discuss how much Las Vegas casino workers actually make. You're gonna be surprised at the spread of salaries, and what I am going to say in advance before I show this to you, and this is publicly available, it's nothing secret. It does, in some cases, this does not include other, what you would call perks. Like one of them would be the EDC, which is like the commissary for employees where you can go and eat. I know some casino workers that eat 3 meals a day. If they're on an 8-hour shift, they show up early, eat breakfast. At lunchtime, they eat lunch. Before they go home, they eat another. Now, that's okay. So you save a couple bucks on the food. But at the same time, from what I've seen in pictures and speaking to people, it's not always the healthiest food. It's like kind of greasy, fried, slapped together commissary food. It's not like they're serving, the same thing they serve in, a nice buffet or anything like that. But I guess you consider that a perk. They also, for the most part, most of them anyway, do include some type of health insurance. And normally it's a pretty decent plan. You have a small portion of pay, they pay the rest. That could be worth up to, depending on whether you're single or have a family, that could be worth a few $100 a month. They tend to have decent credit unions. And some of the casinos, they pay you for 8 hours, even though you work 7. So your lunch that you're eating down in the EDC is paid for. So you get they pay for the time that you're there. However, there's a lot of different things that they do. There's on-call workers, there's part-time, there's varied shifts and things like that you have to navigate. Just because you got a job there, it could be an on-call job with the potential to go full-time, and it gets a little tricky. So the base salary is one thing. Some people are allowed to take tips, obviously. Some are not. But let's go dive into it and let's see what's going on. All right, let's get over here. Let's bop this up real quick. How you doing, everyone? Let me show you this real quick. me get this microphone in an appropriate situation. Now, I went ahead and I pulled up some of the job sites. This is Caesars. This is MGM. Like I said, this is no mystery. It's publicly available if you take the time to look. And MGM and Wynn with their various positions in their various casinos. They used to post what the starting salary was. They no longer do that. So you have to rely on other sources. And a good source, there's another source that that might be a little better, Glassdoor, because people can actually report what they're making. But then there becomes a trust issue if you really trust what they say. And sometimes it's only like 6 or 7 people reporting. So I take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. But let's get into this. Now, it says that the average hourly wage for a Las Vegas casino worker of all types, it doesn't say which. These aren't porters, these aren't housekeeping, these aren't executives, but it's the average of $18 an hour. That's what it's averaged out to, but we're going to take a little deeper dive. But let's take a look what 18 hours actually looks like. Now, presuming that they're going to let you work 40, some of the casinos only let you work 35, 36, 37, 38, or 39, just in case you have to stay. They hate paying overtime. Most businesses, and especially the casinos, they hate paying overtime. So they might cap you out at 38. That way, if you do have to stay a half hour here, a half hour there, they're still not cutting into the overtime. So this might not be 40 hours. Okay, this will just be just an idea. Okay, let's times that by 40 and be optimistic. That is a weekly salary of $720. The average cumulative taxes, because here in Nevada we do not have a state tax, so it averages out to about 17%. That's with tax returns and every other damn thing. What do we got, percent? So that is an $18 an hour. That's the take-home pay. $597, and now you would probably have to minus another 40 from that for your health insurance and Medicaid, Medicare, yada, yada, yada. Oh. Let's go back. I screwed that up. I do apologize, peoples. Let's see. Can we go back? No, we can't. All right, I'm going to do that again real quick. Clear freaking entry. 18 times 40 equals minus 17% equals minus, I would say, 65. So that is the average take-home pay at $18 an hour. Should you be making actually $18 an hour? But I'm going to show you why that's a tricky number. That's $532.60. So if we times that by 52, that's the take-home, 27.7 approximately, which is not too far above the poverty rate, to be perfectly honest. And let's go ahead and break that down a little further and divide that by 12. So the average take-home of this supposed average casino worker making $18 an hour is about $2,300 a month. $18 an hour isn't all that good. I mean, if we factor in real quick, let's just take even if this individual is single, has a studio apartment in the most hood part of town, it's still going to cost approximately $850. So it's minus $850 from that. Home's got $1,400 left. Let's minus his car payment because, he's probably got a car, unfortunately. Let's call that $450. Let's minus out his electric bill because electric here is absolutely stupid. Let's minus out the gas. Let's minus out his insurance because it's absolutely freaking ridiculous here. Let's minus out his... Suddenly we're at a deficit. So you can see $18 an hour is not quite a living wage, unfortunately, by any standards in any community. But that's what the average hourly worker in a casino here in Las Vegas makes, according to ZipRecruiter, and they should know. Yikes. So, I mean, we could break it down a little more. You know, it's 36, obviously, but after the taxes, they're bringing home 7. We already went through these numbers, but let's get into this a little bit deeper. I think I want to expand this a little bit, maybe 2 RCHs. That's a good enough of an RCH. I got to get in there and look. Now, if you look closely at this chart, turns out that this is a national average. What do they call the national average? Somewhere. Yeah, okay. They're considering the national average around 27. So, yeah, Vegas workers are way underpaid, and our economy, our cost of living is accelerating. Now, if we look at this chart here, what is this chart actually showing? This is the averaged out of all their predicted salaries here in Las Vegas. Let's take it down to the end here. $37 to $40 an hour. 0% of the jobs. That means it's negligible, but it also offsets this. 1% of the jobs paying 34 to 37. 1%, another 1% are paying 31 to 34. Another 1% are paying 28 to 31. Another 1% are paying 25 to 28. Let me scoot that up a bit. I scooted it. I didn't know I was blocking it. All right, 2%. 2%. You know how tiny 2% is? That's like 2 cents out of a dollar. 22 to 26. 2% of the jobs here in Las Vegas, or that they're advertising on ZipRecruiter, might I say. 3% of the jobs, 19, well, for all intents and purposes, 20 to 22.50, 3%. And here's where they arrived at the 18. So 1670 to 1960 is the average of 1780, and that makes up 8% of the jobs, bringing this average, based on the skewness of these numbers, to $18 an hour. However, let's dig into this a little bit. Oh, let's go to the peak real quick. Here's the peak. Here is what the bulk, 52% of the jobs in casinos pay the following: $10.83 to $13.76. 52% of all casino jobs fall into that category. And then you have this category, which makes up about 20%. That's $16.50, what is that, $13.76 to $16.70, with an average of $16.47. So you can see, and down here, 7% of the jobs are paying less than $11 an hour. Those probably fall in the category of tipped people. But there are some people out there making that little under the employ of some of these casinos. Now, are these tipped workers? No. Remember, I always said that the casinos barely pay a minimum wage. Maybe they'll be paying $12 or $13 an hour. There's your proof right there. $13 an hour, $12 an hour is not a living wage. You cannot afford to do just about anything. You could afford to take a bicycle. You couldn't even Uber to work. You'd have to take the bus. You'd have to live in an apartment. Fortunately, the occupancy rules here in Vegas are kind of weird too because of these numbers. In Las Vegas, if you have a 2-bedroom apartment, guess how many people are allowed legally to be on the lease and live in a 2-bedroom apartment? Does not matter the square feet, because, some of these bedrooms are, they consider a bedroom 11 by 12 would be considered a bedroom. You couldn't even put a queen-size bed in there. 6. I shit you not. You can fit 6 people legally and on the lease in a 2-bedroom apartment. That means 2 people in one bedroom, 2 people in another bedroom, and 2 people sleeping in the living room, on the couch or on the floor, or you just stick another bed. They don't care how you furnish it. That's how people are surviving here. This town is very, very, very accustomed to multiple people dwelling together. And that's pretty much the only way you can survive. You get a decent place, maybe it's $2,000, right? You divide that by 6, maybe you can pay the bills, because everyone has to have a beautiful car. No one wants to drive a hoopty, and that's a whole nother discussion that people, people get tied up into car payments and things like that. But then again, a cheap hoopty could be a few $1,000s, so you don't save up for it. And now you're buying something that's 5 years old from one of these auto loan places, and you're still paying $450 for a 5-year-old car because you don't have the down payment, because you're not willing to take the bus for like 6 months and save up for a hoopty. So people are all, they want to be seen, because when you're out at the clubs, when you're out at the bar, when you're out at work, when you're out here and there and everywhere and, trying to meet people and do your thing, people will see you and your car, and you can give off a little different air. They don't know you're going back to, some hoopty crib, with sheets for window blinds and whatever, sleeping on the floor on an air mattress or whatever, because you got a nice car. Bad choice, but it is what people do. So let's get back over there. So the average casino worker, 52% of all casino jobs are making 11 to 14 at the most. Who are these people? These are your porters, for the most part. They especially are the retail workers. The retail workers, the people who check out your t-shirts and your sundries and all that type of stuff. They make the absolute least. So if you see someone working in like a high-end store that's part of the property, or average store that's part of the property, and it's not a Louis Vuitton who's paying rent, and they're all working on commission, of course. But if they work directly for the casino, and if they have a badge that says Wynn, Bellagio, Circus, whatever, they work for the casino. That's who's making $11 an hour. And you can see that they're not kids. They're not 13-year-olds. They're not 14-year-olds. Well, that'll be against the law. They're not kids, put it that way. They're not college kids. These are grown-ass people who got bills to pay, making this kind of money. Let's do a quick calculation on that. Let's average that out at 12 and see what we come up with. 12 times, and this is being optimistic because most of the times it'll be 35 hours. Minus the dreaded 17%. You bring home less, once you pay your, your FICA and your part of your health care, because you do have to, they got decent health care, but you do have to pay part of it. $1,600 a month you're coming home with. That's you could barely rent anything for $1,600, and that's what these casinos that are making $1 billion frickin' dollars a month cumulatively choose to pay their employees. And you wonder why sometimes you don't get the best service in Las Vegas. You wonder sometimes why they have an attitude. You wonder sometimes why, unless they're tipped workers, why they got, they're not the happiest people in the world. You wonder sometimes why there's pee on the floor in the bathrooms and there's an attendant standing right there. They're making $13 an hour. That's why I always dupe people like that, make their day or even talk to them. But You know, they're making 12 bucks an hour, 13 bucks an hour, and their office is a bathroom. So yeah, I could say, oh my God, there's so much piss on the floor. Why don't you run the mop? But at the same time, I couldn't even imagine making 12 bucks an hour. You know what I'm saying? That's like freaking yikes. But let's get back into it. And we're going to break down, we're going to go a little further down. So, like I said, the $18 an hour is, you know, if you're moving to Vegas and you're like, oh yeah, I can make 18 bucks an hour. I'll find me a cheap apartment, get me a roommate, yeah. That is a bit of an illusion based on these two, because this is where the true average, it's offset by people who are making 60, 70, and 80,000. That brings the average up. But this is what a casino worker makes. Like, frickin' yikes. All right, let's go down here. You want to know what the executives make? Here you go. The vice president of casino marketing gets paid 80 bucks an hour. And that's fair. That's a good wage. I'm not going to say no. The casino CFO, Chief Financial Officer, is making 70. He's bringing home 146. So the marketing dude is making more than the CFO. Casino vice president is making 70 bucks an hour. 145. Compare that to like the CEO of like Lucid or a CEO of, you know, any other corporation. That's peanuts. That is peanuts, because cops in New York City make about 145, and you wonder why the casinos operate the way they do. There's a lot of people in the audience that might say, hey, Bror Fredrik, I would love to make $146,000. Yeah, I mean, $146,000 sounds great before taxes. You know, whack the 20% right off the top of that. That's $30,000. Your take home would be $115. I'm good with numbers like that. However, do you want to be responsible for 70,000 people? Do you want to be the guy who's called for everything in the middle of the night? Do you want to be the guy who's on the carpet for this cyber hack for 70 bucks an hour? And that's salary. I'm guessing, even though that says clearly that it's an hourly rate, I'm guessing that's salary. So whether you're working 40 hours or 90 hours, this number is probably the same. I could be wrong, but I might not be. So let's dig a little deeper. Like I said, I know cops in New York City who are making more than that. And this is a casino vice president who's making this kind of money. Is it a livable wage? Abso-freaking-lutely. And you also wonder why these casino executives come and go and come and go and come and go, like Resorts World. They just got rid of their president. AMF dude, he was probably making like, you know, that guy's the vice president. The president's making maybe $250 to run the whole property and deal with all the shit that goes on. They're just like, adios, MFer. Okay. So then we got the VP of Casino Operations pulling in 65 bucks an hour, 135, about 100 even after taxes. You got your casino analysts making 57, bringing home 120. These are executive positions. These companies, this VP of casino marketing pulling down 80 bucks, 79 bucks an hour at 165, after taxes 125, 130. He's responsible for helping the properties make that $1 billion a month. He's helping them make billions a year. Billions a year. And they pay him 80 bucks an hour to do so. Frickin' yikes. Frickin' yikes. That's all I gotta say about our data, and it shows you how it's actually skewed. We can get into all that. So what do you think about all that? Is it what you thought it would be? We're gonna take a little deeper dive right now into some actual positions and what property are offering them. Is it surprising? Doesn't surprise me. I've been telling you about this for a long time, but here we go. All right, let's head on over to jobs. Blank. Casino worker jobs. Currently, they have jobs within 5,000 miles of Las Vegas. Yikes, not really. Casino worker jobs. Kitchen worker at Oscars. There's no salary given there. At the Plaza. Let's see who. Oh, here we go. I gotta scoot these up. Scoot. The risk and safety coordinator. This is a managerial position. He is the coordinator. That means like one of the top dogs there in risk and safety over at the Rio. Paying 50 to 60 annually. That's like, it's not horrible, but that's a lot of responsibility to pull in. I mean, your average UPS worker pulls in about 110K. A UPS guy driving around with boxes makes almost double what a risk and safety coordinator makes at the Rio. Let's continue. All right. Players Club representative. These are the people who walk around. Hey, I see you're not using a car. Do you need a new one or do you have one? That's at Ellis Island. Whatever. That I would guess that pays about 12. All right. Security. Excuse me. Security. The guys who are like, hey, Bror Fredrik, we'd prefer if you didn't do any live streaming in here. You know why I don't bust their balls about it and give them a hard time? Because they're making 15 to 18 bucks an hour. So A, they might have an axe to grind. Two, I kind of feel bad for them. They're responsible for the security of a casino, averaging out at like 17 bucks an hour. You can barely live on 17. I mean, yeah, you can live, but you can't live independently for 17 bucks an hour after tax. Even under the table, that ain't gonna cut it. Now, these numbers, I'd have to say, are also not based on seniority. So if you've been there a while, but these places, trust me, I know. I've been in the back of these casinos. I know how they operate. You know what they get? 50 cents an hour raise per year. It's not like the guy who's been there as 10 is like making double. He's making like $2 or $3 more. So security guard at the Virgin, average 15. They'd have the chutzpah to offer you 15 bucks an hour to put your life on the line as a security officer. Frickin' yikes. All right, here we go. The D Casino. D. Security shift supervisor. That other dude's boss. He's only making $1.50 more an hour. Maxed out at 20 full time. Friggin' yikes. Must be 21 or over. Golden Gate. Obviously, downtown pays a little less. This is, let's say, Golden Gate Casino security offer. Again, they pay nothing to these security guys. 15 to 18 bucks an hour. So we're not even hitting, for the most part, that $18 average that they're talking about. A cook at Poker Palace, a prep cook at, let's see, that's at the Plaza, the Fresh Mexican Grill, 13 to 17. You can see that that's the prevailing wage. Over at the Palms, they're willing to pay a chef level 3. I don't know what that is, a corporal of chefdom. 13 to 18 bucks an hour. Look at this, Cage. These are people who are responsible for the money. They're handling money. That is a high pressure job. Like, if they're off like $3, they're going to shine a O-light so far up their ass, it's going to make their teeth glow. If anything comes up wrong. I mean, you're constantly under scrutiny. It's high pressure. You have to be fast. You have to be accurate. You got to be great at math, and the whole bit. And this is what the Cage pays. $13.50 to $16.50. Another cook, 14 to 17. I don't even know where that is. Dual rate dealer and floor supervisor. They don't give the number for that. Maintenance worker. Oh, that's all in Cali. Cali. Main bank cashier. They're handling big transactions over at Golden Gate. $13.50 to $16.50. Entertainment manager and prim. I can't imagine them making any kind of money. Ellis Island corporate revenue generated. Oh, hey, we got a job. Director regulatory compliance on site. That's kind of a big position. They're going to pay that person $145 to $150, but you need 6 years of experience as a compliance, regulatory, or legal environment in a large. So basically, you got to come from some other casino. It's not like you can just apply for it through freaking LinkedIn. You got to have a history of being this guy to pull in that kind of number, which is a decent number. Order taker on call at the Palms, 13 to 16, yada, yada, yada. Let's see if, oh, there's an interesting one. IT service desk representative. That's like, you know, you're at the cage and one of the computers goes down, or you're a sales dude, or you're a players club and you can't get to your email on the computer to email, you know, your guy saying, yo, we got, you know, we'd like to invite you to the Super Bowl this weekend, and, you know, that type of stuff. Oh, my computer's all jacked up. This is the guy you call, the IT service desk dude. And he's going to be like, have you tried pulling the plug out and putting it back in? Did you restart anytime soon? You know, that guy. They're willing to pay $21 an hour for that level of experience, which is $880, take home around $700 for an IT professional. Freaking yikes. Housekeeping supervisor over at the Silver Sevens. You know what? That's like that little degen place by Tuscany. The supervisor in charge of all the other housekeepers, 15 to 20. Freaking, you must be friendly, must be this, must be that, must do this, must be able to work weekends and holidays. That's a big ask for freaking averaging out. It's $17 an hour. Security manager. Oh, how about this one? Full-time casino floor supervisor, $28 an hour. So, like a pit boss. We're talking about pit boss. Pit boss is making $28 an hour. Freaking Amazon warehouse pays their workers $22, $23. You're talking about a pit boss making $28 an hour. Freaking yikes. Apprentice, lead janitor. I just want to focus on Vegas. Let's see. Porter, you know, we already spoke about them. The porters, 13. That's where they're getting these averages from. IT gaming inspector. This is an inspector. Probably gets a badge too for $20 an hour. So freaking yikes. You know? Alright, enough of that. I'm going to show you some other things real quick to give you an idea of what jobs are being offered currently. So let's look at that. This is the win. Again, they're not associating salaries with these, but now we have a basis for understanding what the casinos pay. Here we have, let me expand that a little bit. Bonk. And bonk. Okay, we're good. What jobs do they have available over here at the good old Win? Coordinator for catering, that's probably like 20. Front desk individual, probably 15. Security guy, we've already found out they make about 15. Everything's 15. Just everything's 15. Special events, security officer, housekeeping, fitness professional, they're probably going to pay them 8. An entertainment electrician. What else is available here? What should I go apply for? Limo driver, sommelier. If I knew about wine, I could apply for that. carpenter, $20. Quality assurance supervisor of housekeeping. Food server. Assistant manager in the concierge. These are the jobs. I haven't seen one job that's going to pay you more than $20 an hour on this list. Bus person. Assistant hotel manager, maybe they'll make 50 or 60. I would guess. A videographer. Oh, wow. Should I apply? Inventory control clerk. A golf locker room attendant. A bus boy. A cook, walk cook. Join. And they have a tough process. I went with someone to the Win for moral support, and the chances of you getting that job are like slim and none, because I'll tell you, any one of these jobs, the day they invite you in, if you apply, you will get invited to apply for this job. We passed their employment center when we were walking down by the Tuscany. It's behind, it's kind of behind the Tuscany. Each one of these jobs, about 100 to 150 people are going to show up for every one of these jobs. Every single one of them. All right, let's see what let's see what their IT department's doing. That's what I'm curious to find out. Let's see what kind of IT jobs. Human resources, sales and marketing, technology. I'm curious to see what they're offering because of the current situation. Go and check out that video. Senior Hybrid Cloud Directory Services Engineer. Huh? All right. Gotta know AWS, Azure, GCP. That's probably a decent job. I don't know what they pay. Software engineer, SailPoint. Software engineer for loyalty. Tech network for corporate full-time. I wonder how some of these jobs are probably new, based on some heads rolling and based on the cyber hack. It's over at Borgata. Blah, 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 blah. Not that many jobs, believe it or not. Let's take a look at a couple other ones. Let's see entry-level stuff. What do they have for entry-level? Okay, food and beverage. Friggin' yikes. All the cook jobs. Costume beverage server at Borgata. I don't want to look at Borgata. What are we doing over here? Scope Vegas. The Henry. I mean, these jobs are, 12, $13 an hour. Maybe. Let's go over to Caesar, see what they got going on. Sportsbook. They're all up in the sportsbook activity. So you got to be in the sportsbook because that's what they seem to be hiring for. And if you want to be a laundry feeder, that means a person who shoves, blankets and pillowcases and sheets in one of them giant washing machines that you could fall inside. And a porter. So you're doing two jobs at once at $13 an hour. Yikes. Senior engineer at the Horseshoe, apprentice engineer. Apprentice engineer in laundry. Huh. Is that like a high-tech thing? Apprentice engineer. I am a laundry engineer. I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying that's a pretty extensive title to put on laundry. The Party Pit. The Party Pit. What up? I haven't been to the Rio in a while. Table game supervisors at Paris. These are the type of jobs that are available right now. Property-wide hiring event for cashiers, baristas, and hosts. These are the lowest paying jobs in the property. That's why they have, whenever you see hiring event, that generally means that they're looking to fill some very low level positions in the company, like hiring event, like the Fontaine Bleu up the block. They're doing a hiring event. What that means is they're looking for, either low skill or low paid positions to fill. That's what a hiring event is. This is not how you find executives. Oh, I'll tell you something else. Someone sent me, matter of fact, two people sent me their notifications from LinkedIn. The F1 Corporation, FUF1, buy yourself a t-shirt, show your displeasure the same way I do, link in the description. They're taking to LinkedIn and going into people's profiles and offering them 3 weeks worth of work at the F1 race. And they're hitting up people in the retail industry and supervisory capacity. So that's how desperate they are. They are like cold calling with email on people's LinkedIn profiles right now. Isn't that a trip? Let's see, a couple more. We'll show a couple more here. Housekeeping supervisor, slot mechanic at the Cromwell. Retail, oh my God, retail stock worker, that's $10.35 an hour. You can work at the high roller, that's probably $13. All right, so that's the story there. So let's get out of that for a second. So what do you think? Do you think, are you surprised? Did you have an idea that the people in these casinos are actually making that little money? Do you consider it a little bit of money? I consider it a little bit of money for what they're doing. Again, like I said in the beginning, some of these jobs are paying a substantial part of their health care, upwards of 80% of it, but you still have to come up with the rest, comes right out of your paycheck. Some of them do offer free food. Some of the places downtown do not. I know of a couple places downtown that make their employees pay for food if they eat, like it's a buffet for their employees, and pay for parking and pay them $15 an hour. So these are not glamorous jobs. So if you're thinking about coming to Vegas and, I can get a job at the casino, yeah, you probably will. You probably can after you go to, 10, 20, 30 interviews. If you're an employee if you're a person that fits into those categories there. If you have expertise in something, that's a different story, because then the field narrows a little bit. So maybe you're going after the same position with 10 other people, and somehow your experience or your personality or whatever has to stand out a little more. But if you're going for one of these jobs, you're competing against 200 or 300 other people. So it's not that easy, but eventually, if you keep hammering, you could apply for every one of those jobs. You literally can apply for every one of those jobs, and they will weed through it and whatnot. And you'll get called within a day or an email within a day. Come on down. I showed you where the employment center is at Caesars and what you have to do to get a job. But can you afford to live in Las Vegas for $15 an hour? But you say, hey, Bror Fredrik, these are entry-level positions. So if I start out as a porter, eventually I'm going to work my way up the corporate ladder and be CEO one day. You think so? Do you think so? Based on what I just showed you, supervisory positions, you would think that they're hiring predominantly from within, but they don't. They don't. They hire from without. They want a new supervisor to come in. They'll put it up on here and say, we need a supervisor, instead of migrating someone that's already at their job and has performance, because they also know the law, the Peter principle. People will always be promoted past their ability to perform the job you're paying them for. They're well aware of that. So if someone's they're doing well, and like, for instance, a housekeeper has to clean 15 to 17 rooms a day. Could you do that? I couldn't do it. In a 7-hour period, and you wonder why there's a pube or a piece of corn or an old rubber under your bed or whatever, because they have like 15 minutes to clean the entire room, change the bed, clean the bathroom, change the toilet paper. That's why they're not dusting every little thing. They got 17 rooms to do, and that is back-breaking work. Back-breaking. That's why you should leave, like $5 per day that you're there, $10 per day, just, help them out a little. But that is back-breaking work. But if they find that you can do 17 rooms a day, you don't complain, and nothing goes missing ever from these people's rooms, they don't want to promote you to supervisor, because the chances of them finding someone else who can do your job is slim, because most people do not cut it. Most people within 30 to 90 days, they're gone. They can't be bending over and vacuuming for 7 hours a day and hustling and lifting shit. It's a certain type of person, certain type of woman, because it's predominantly women that do that job, although there is some men. It's a different kind of person that can handle that kind of stress and blow out the back. And if you ever saw them leave work, you'd see a lot of this as they walk into the cars, because their knees are shot, their backs are shot. They don't want to promote them to being a supervisor, because they won't replace you. They want you staying there until your career ends, cleaning those 17 rooms a day, and they'll pay you that 50 cents, 75 cents more. And a lot of these are unionized jobs. But just because you're in a union does not mean you're going to make more. It's not like the carpenters union or the steam fitters union. These union jobs, like you hear now about the strikes that might take place in town, the culinary union, which exceeds far beyond actual food, culinary, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be making more money. All they're saying is, one, now you have to give us part of your paycheck. Sounds kind of Jimmy Hoffish. Should I have said that? Now we got to give you part of the paycheck, but we'll protect your rights as a worker in exchange. We will go to bat for you to get you 55 cents next year instead of 50 cents. We will go to make sure that you have the best 3-day-old fried chicken in the commissary. We'll go to bat for you if you feel you got illegally terminated, maybe. Just because it's unionized doesn't mean that they're paying all this all now. It's still a $13 an hour job, and then you're offered into the union after a few months. So yeah, that's what it's like. That's what it's like to work in a casino. That's how much they make. You can see even the executives, they're sub 2K. Casino executives, the people who are bringing in the billions, they're sub 2K. Amazing, right? A supervisor in the sanitation department makes more than them. A UPS driver who's been around for about 3 or 4 years is making the same. A cop in New York City is making the same. Although, they're putting their life on the line, but, they're putting their careers on the line. Because if you fail as a casino executive, unless you get headhunted prior to your failure, it's not that easy to get another job, because it's like, you already effed up your job over at this property. Why do we want to hire you? And then what are you going to do? Blame them? Well, they were just all screwed up, and this happened, and this guy was a jerk. And once you start saying that, they definitely don't want to give you a job, because if you're going to talk about your old employment like that, we know you're going to do the same thing to us. So, take a hike. So you can kill your entire career. So you might do good for a year or two, but when the winds change, you might be out in the street again, looking for one of them sick UPS jobs, which is backbreaking too. So let me know what you think down in the comments about what we just discovered. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So let's take a little pause in between the news, and let me see what you guys got to say. What do we got? 171 people in the house. All right, let's see what is what. Yeah, 171 people. That's pretty awesome from Monday afternoon. Hope everyone's enjoying a Monday. So let's see what you guys got to say. Well, that was depressing. Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't want to be the full-blown Debbie Downer, but just realistically, and the reason why I'm mentioning this too is in light of what's going on right now. All those people doing hand pays to pissed off customers, all the people at the front desks who are like, oh my God, when is this room? I need another key. Like every time you bust someone's balls or lips in one of these properties, I mean, I'm not saying treat them any different but maybe just think about it. They're making $15 an hour. They're making $15 an hour, which is, for all intents and purposes, the same thing that your average McDonald's worker makes. To take your reservation, put up with bullshit, to serve you drinks and all the rest of that. Now, there is some people making lit money. I mean, the waitresses in the high limit rooms that I frequent, like Aria and Bellagio, my two favorite rooms, they make a good living. They make a good living because, one, they got seniority to be there. It's tips, but take away the tips, or when the casino's kind of dead or whatever, they ain't making shit. But the average tip worker here in Las Vegas, they say their value, if they're surviving on tips, they're making even less than $18. They're probably making less than 13 because they could pay them less than minimum wage. Less than federal minimum wage they could get paid if they're making tips. Although the employer, if they don't meet that standard, the employer's got to kick in to bring them up to the national average, and then they lose the tips. And then you have to trust the company that you're even getting the tips, because half of them are digital now. So you go to the Starbucks and, you feel a little generous, and I hate being extorted. Like they turn the iPad around. They're like this. Oh, and then they tilt it. Like, well, what do you want me to do with this? Oh, tip? Oh, okay, I'll tip you. How do they even know they're getting that shit? Who's auditing whether they're actually getting those tips or not? Because it's not in a jar anymore. That dude, that chef with the long hair and the orange Crocs, he got freaking spanked for keeping tip money. How many other businesses are keeping the tip money? How do you even trust it? At the end of the week, when they say, hey, you made $82.04 in tips, and you're like, damn. It seemed like, I remember, like, just one night, we would, like, got thousands and thousands in tips. And yeah, they share them for the most part, but you just have to trust. Like, I have to trust YouTube. It's weird. It's weird. Just not all it's cracked up to be. Bum, 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 bum. When we leave the room at the M Resort, we tip well and leave a note that says, take all the items. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, the culinary union workers are supposed to vote tonight. But like I said, it's not like a union, it's not the type of union you think it is. They'll help them. Are they okay? Do you think the workers really want to strike? They're only striking based on the fact that the culinary union is saying, we can get you more, or we can get you this, or we can get you that, or we can get you this. Whether they do or they don't, some of them are probably like, the average culinary worker union's probably like, union person's probably, why the F did I actually sign up for this? Why did I vote this into place? I don't see anything coming from it. Some of them, they got a little raise, but then you pay your union fees. You're back where you started anyway, but you're part of a union now, and you get to go out and picket, and you get to picket, and all the executives are taking pictures of everyone on the picket line, finding reasons to get rid of you because it's a right to work state. So the union isn't all that it's cracked up to be. Favorite shows, AI and Tar Beach. Your car is listening. Any AI stories? Borgetta guy cuts the line. Bum, 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 bum. I'll give you a baritone. Mic check. We're going to get into all that type of stuff, and I appreciate those 5 Bananaroundas. I got future shows coming up just along those lines, and YT finally approved my Tar Beach video. When I first put it, I cut that like a week ago into a smaller segment with all the pictures from Tar Beach, and YouTube was not happy about it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I couldn't figure out why. So, they finally reviewed it. I'm like, listen, I know I made a joke about selling pictures of my feet.
Yeah.
I know I showed pictures of my feet, but I'm not a foot fetish channel. This was a thing, and it's satire, and it was funny, and it's me being me. You feel me, YT? And finally, this morning, the dude, or I think it was a dude. I'm pretty familiar with Indian names. The dude sends me an email. He's like, "Yeah, you're cool, bro. We see you're not trying to really sell feet pics or whatever. Although there's plenty of that on Facebook. I'm just not one of them. I mean, on YT." But yeah, so that video is going to go up. I did a super cut of my feet. Yeah, another pie in the face. You guys talking about. Yeah, so what kind of job do you get if you move into Vegas? Um, a support role outside the casino, like a driver for a company that sells them their toilet paper. Sanitation, city workers. That's all our governor cares about here is city workers. So you'll do well as a city worker. You don't give a shit about anyone else, apparently. Not that I can see, but he is doing a good job for city workers, hospital type jobs, things like that. But I would say unless you're desperate, I wouldn't look to the casinos if you're an average skilled worker, if you have something high end to offer them, you're a security expert or you're this or you're that. It's better to be in a position of supporting the casinos than actually working in them in the grand scheme of things. Unless you just want a job where if you do it and you keep your head down, and you don't talk to anyone, and you smile every time the supervisor passes, you got a brown nose a little bit, but right after that, go back to putting your head down, doing your job. You can stay there until you retire, cop your retirement, get your health care, and, as long as it's not another pandemic, you can probably stay there a full career. Get seniority, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they'll give you a title here and there. No gold watch, but yeah. I mean, if that suits you, you just want to be like Fred Flintstone, slide off your dinosaur when the day is done. It might be a decent job, but bear in mind, you'll max out at like 20 to 22 bucks an hour. Isn't this a kick in the balls? Like, if you started at 14 bucks an hour, you worked after 10, 15 years, you got up to 21.20. And then you find out that they're hiring new people for 18. You're going to be like, it's a little bit of it. That's what happens here. That's why the employees, there's a lot of like kerfuffle among the employees because they've had to increase wages in order to get these people to actually want to work at these properties. But at the same time, being that they're offering a slightly more competitive wage, they're starting people at what people with seniority are already making. That would piss me the actual F off, too. They're not giving them raises, too. They're starting them, okay, you make 20, we're going to start all the new people at $18.85. And I gave you 10 years of my life? That I gotta admit, I'd be pissed. No ifs, ands, or buts, but that's another issue that you have to deal with on the strip. You got seniority, but new people are making just about the same amount of money as you do. Probably better benefits. Freaking yikes. All right, let's look at other stuff. You are welcome for bringing it to your attention. Yeah, tips do, an escalator repair person, you'd think it'd be a great job, but nobody repairs the escalators here, unfortunately. Tips and do good follow-up surveys. Yeah, that does help. The money helps. Like, even when I get Walmart delivered, I don't do the electronic tipping because I'd rather put it in that individual's hands. That's the other thing over here too is The IRS estimates what your tips are if you get cash tips and whatnot, but you technically don't get cash. It's a tricky area. It's a tricky area. Prepaid tips, I'd rather give them cash to my Walmart guy instead of hitting the number. I'm not giving anyone 20% of my Walmart order or even 10 sight unseen. When he wings it across the yard and dents all my tuna cans. That ain't happening. But I will give them cash. But sometimes when they see that this person didn't give you a tip, then they wing it across the yard anyway. So, tipping that's a whole nother conversation that we have to have. Tipping is actually ruining this country. It actually is. We have to do it to help subsidize these cheap ass companies that refuse to pay a living wage. So now Las Vegas, basically, for all intents and purposes, refuses to pay their employees a true living wage. They're just glorified McDonald's workers. That's the truth. People don't want to hear it. They're not going to want to hear it. I know they're watching, but pay your people. Person who gets you a cab at a casino makes over $150K with tips. That's why you see the same person. Really? I thought that was always a myth. Isn't that like a myth that comes down from like casino? Where the valet dude knows all the dirt and whatnot. They make that kind of money. The guy who gets you a cab did not know that. Prepay and cash at the end of a cruise. I don't know, the valet, ever since they started charging, okay, for the most part, the valet companies they don't work for the casino. Most of them are hired out by a company that handles valet services. They're not internal anymore because it's just cheaper that way. Once they went to a paid model, okay, I used to tip minimum, 20 years ago, if you gave a dude $10, they'd park it up front, because $10 had some value. $100 is the new 20 nowadays. Then 20 became the norm and whatever. And, I'm not talking about valet. I'm talking about keep it up front. Valet, sometimes I can get to where I parked in the self-park quicker than a valet will bring me my car on a weekend. So, so you want them to leave it up front. But now that they charge for valet 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50 to valet your car, how generous are you going to be? When I park at Vidara, and I'm still pissed at them for whoever stole my Jim Maui $555 glasses out of my car, so now I'm less generous. I'm just taking it out of their tips, but I park there often. And it's $45 to park, $35 during the week, $45 or $55 or $65 during events. Not that they have events, but they know who's going to park there. I'm not giving them those $20. I'm just not. That's not cheap, but every car in there is supposed to give them $20 when I'm already paying $50. So cumulatively, I'm paying $70. No, sorry, bro. It just ain't gonna happen. And they don't keep it up front. But let's see. We give the cab guy at least 5 spots for opening. Yeah, 5. I always keep I segment my money. I got a certain portion of my real money on one side, and then I have my petty cash. And my petty cash, it used to consist of singles and 5s. Now it consists of 5s and 10s. 20s and 100s are in a separate thing, and then 5s and 10s. And I keep them, it's 10, 10, 10, 5, 5, 5. I'm organized they're all facing the same direction. And then I give those. I know who I got a tip to get shit done, or that I just want to be generous to, the guy who opens the door, like you just said, the bathroom attendant, things like that. Dollars don't cut it anymore, except I will use dollars for drinks, depending on the property. Like the Wynn, But like the higher end properties right off the bat, it's five for a cup of coffee. I tipped them $5, to get my cup of coffee because they know me, they're kind to me, and quite frankly, coffee is way more of a big pain in the ass for them to bring over a Pellegrino, even though the Pellegrino costs more. So I'm generous. Some cases $10 if I'm at the crap stable and whatnot. They gotta do a balancing act and remember my little stir sticks and you got napkins and it's a different deal. It's different from bringing some guy a beer. Oh, that coffee's good. Sylvia, that is that Sumatran coffee. Wow, is that good? I fell in love with Sumatran coffee. Of all places, the RW. The RW serves Sumatran and Ethiopian coffee too, and that stuff is just great. Hey, bro, what are your thoughts on an AI brothel? Thank you for those $2. Buckarandas. It's coming. It's coming. I guess I could leave it there. A little, you know what I'm saying? What are my thoughts on it? I think it would be frightening to go into a place that's strictly AI bot, fembots and whatnot. And I just think that, I don't know. Me personally, I just think in paying for boot knocking, me personally, everyone do you, I'd rather lick the side of a toilet bowl than actually pay for intimacy. That's just me. So whether it's AI or, a human being, I ain't going for it. But it is coming to a neighborhood near you. No ifs, ands, or buts. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, you're right, Mike K. If you're looking for free coffee at the RW, head through the high limit room to the Crockford lobby. Yeah, I didn't know that. I haven't been down to the RW in a long time. Remember the last time they asked me to leave? Because some customer was like, remember that it was just such an asshole. He was like, hey, am I in your video? I'm like, no, bro, it's pointed at me. Like, okay, I get it. The camera was like that. So, people assume that it's, pointing that way. I'm like, no, I'm talking to my people. And I think he said something, dumbass, but ever since they did that, and then I'm just like, all the people that I knew over at the RW, even though they used to treat me good, they were all gone. They started treating me like, any other civilian. And they never did apologize for the incident during the grand opening where they re-injured my shoulder, And if I wanted to, I could make an issue of it. I re-injured my shoulder over there. Yeah, they use that Sumatran and Ethiopian coffee. That neck of the woods has some, it's an acquired taste. It's a lot more earthy than regular coffee, but I like it. It's like the darkest chocolate earthy. Oh, I like it. I likes it. Yeah, free coffee is always good. All right, so you want to get into some news? What time is it? Holy cow. Did we go that long? All right, let's jump into some news real quick. I don't know if I'm going to have time to show you the Titan RF bag. We might have to save that for tomorrow. Holy yikes. We got down to business over here. All right, let's switch cameras over here. Let's jump over. Let's get this microphone up out of my grill. Oh, sorry. Did I just burp into the mic? I'm sorry. That was probably pretty rude. All right. You ready to get into some Vegas news? I think I am too. Like right about now. Breaking news. Here we go. All right. As I think everyone knows, because I've spoken about it, a lot of people have spoken about it, but an individual here in Las Vegas, a construction worker, Don't know what he was making, but while constructing, this is the grandstand for the F1 races in front of the Bellagio. A worker lost his life on Saturday afternoon. Everyone was talking about how did it happen, why did it happen. Finally, now today, as of this morning, OSHA is involved. Certain investigators are involved. I feel horrible. It's terrible, but F1 has claimed a life, unfortunately. Poor guy. I feel bad for his family, feel bad for him, and a moment of silence. But evidently, what happened to him is, they say, a major laceration of the neck. So basically, his throat got cut on something in here. And someone who I know familiar with the scenario said that he basically bled out on the scene, as you do when you get your throat cut, and they pronounced him dead at the hospital. He didn't die at the hospital. He was pronounced dead, but yeah, he most likely expired on the scene. And that's very, very sad. So everyone's covering that. And you see how, like I always say about the way the news handles things here in Las Vegas. Look what it says here. According to the Las Vegas police, on Saturday, officers responded to the 3600 block of South Las Vegas Boulevard. They never name the property. But down here, they continue. Officers arrived. A male subject sustained a major laceration to the neck while working at the Bellagio fountains. No, see, they're protecting Bellagio and F1 at the same time. No, he was working on this shit, and there's a lot of sharp shit taking place over there. So I feel real bad, but yeah, terrible, terrible, terrible thing. All right, on to our next bit of news. How about this? We've been talking about, I told you it was going to happen. Did I not? I said it was going to happen. Class action lawsuit coming up because, it just makes sense in the grand scheme of things. It just had to happen like this because, as we've been talking about with with my friend, cybersecurity expert, and we were also talking about it in general, that it was their responsibility through these hacks. Well, it was Caesars and MGM's responsibility to protect your data. You're entrusting them with your data. They broke that trust. They weren't out there tossing it out, but they have an environment that allowed, under whatever circumstance it happened to be, your information to become out in the wild. So basically, a few million people's information, you just basically been doxxed. So your information is out there. So currently, it was just a matter of time. 5 lawsuits are going after MGM and Caesars, seeking class action status. Now, Caesars, as I suggested, I wonder if it was my suggestion that might have inspired them. They are providing all their customers who were in their database a 1 year, I think it's 1 year, yeah, I think 1 year subscription to LifeLock. Just a year, which, it's expensive in and of itself, but they bought it in bulk. I'm sure they cut a deal. Is 1 year going to be enough? Probably not. LifeLock probably cut a deal with Caesars based on the fact that some people would renew at the end of 1 year. That's just how shit goes, people. It's just how shit goes. But at least it's a step. It's a step I suggested. MGM, if they haven't already done it, they probably will have to do it because your information is currently in the wild and you don't have the time. Do you check every line item on your credit card bill or your debit card bill? I don't. I should, but I don't. But I do, but I don't. It just is what it is. If I made purchase, those are good companies to have. That might be part of it, but whenever you get into the class action settlement arena, you're going to get $13 by the time all's said and done. Better you just take the LifeLock. So we all knew that was going to happen. I wonder who the failing to protect, highly publicized data breaches, yada, 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 some tacos. Yeah, you can read all that for yourself. But we knew it was coming. You'll probably be contacted, or, hopefully you're not contacted, truth be known. They'll probably make some, these huge legal firms will probably put out a call to join this if you feel that you were affected by said data breach, and you will be able to collect your 32 cents also. All right, on to the next one. I didn't want to get too Debbie Downer with this one because in the last one I covered how, this town's just straight up turning into the wild, wild west outside of the strip. And, on the strip too, you just don't hear about it the same. And it's very hard to dig up accurate data on the strip. But again, this goes to people's mentality, not so much the news itself. Las Vegas police, ex-Popeyes employee, who's probably making more than the people at the casinos, shot into the store after he was fired from a frickin' Popeyes. As people just giving zero Fs. I mean, they fired me from the line, and now I'm going to go to my car and rat-tat-tat the place and possibly end lives because I showed up late. Oh my God. I mean, there's something going up. There's something in the water. There's a mentality lately in this country that is becoming unfit. It's becoming unfit. Certain people are becoming unfit for society lately. I mean, who does this stuff? According to the documents, got the call, 7:46, September 7th, West Sunset. It's not really a terrible area. Former employee, I don't want to glorify these people, but that just goes to mentality. I mean, that never occurred to me. I mean, it doesn't occur to normal people. These are freaking psychopaths. There's people with no conscience who are totally unfit to be in society walking around out there. Maybe it's the amount of medication people are on, their mommy didn't hug them enough, something, but it's bad. All right, here's another little weird one. I told you I wasn't going to get too deep, but there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. A 9-year-old was accused of making threats and bringing pew-pew stuff to a North Las Vegas school. 9 years old. 9 years old. What are you going to do to a 9-year-old? What are you actually going to do to a 9-year-old? And where does a 9-year-old even come up with this stuff? I don't want to be that guy and say music, video games, television shows. Where are these people getting it? This 9 years old, you should be watching freaking Barney. What the heck? 9 years old. You know who's really at fault here? The parents. The parents. Like the parents of, I was going to show the picture of the two, I think they're actually starting to call them supremacists now, even though, you know what I'm saying? Who ran that dude over on purpose. They're underage and, they don't want to be tried as an adult. If the kids don't get tried as adult, you know what they should start doing? Trying the parents. The crime should pass along to the parents. Whatever this little kid, this little 9-year-old, that's the parents right there that got to pay for that. The parents are liable for the actions of your child. You just can't walk by and say, what are they going to do to a 9-year-old? Prison? Jury trial? No, they're going to sit down with a therapist, and why did you do this, you poor little thing, and we don't understand it. So put the frickin' parents in jail. Put the parents in jail? I'm going to say that up close. Put the parents in jail And then watch how parenting takes a sudden positive turn for the best. When your kids are out there just effing with society, no productivity, being predators, bringing bulots to frickin' school, that's your problem. And you should pay the price for that bad parenting and this fatherless behavior that's taken place out there. And all the single moms, I bet, well, I would wager that that was probably a single mom. Or not, I could be wrong, but it's fatherless type behavior. So the parents should be liable. The parents should have to serve or be penalized for the actions of these wild kids running around causing all this destruction and mayhem. And then maybe parents will get involved when they know that they might be called on the carpet. For all the people who think that the fun is over, it's not quite over in terms of the traffic from F1 and from the Super Bowl. The current administration announced, they announced the when and how often they're going to be visiting Las Vegas, because this current administration that we have loves coming to Las Vegas more than the old one, even though he had a place here. But this administration is going to do a lot. They say they are going to do a lot of stumping and campaigning here in Nevada, because they consider it, now that we have a red governor, they say that they're going to take more time in this state because, you know, being that it turned red on the gubernatorial level, that they really have to apply themselves here in a profound effect. So the president plans on coming to Las Vegas a lot right after the Super Bowl. So they already announced what it's going to be. I mean, he, in his docket, is actually driving up and down the strip. So they're like, F it, you're already used to closures and traffic and all the rest of that. We're going to bring some more. So that's going to take place right after the Super Bowl. I think there are 6 planned trips here from the current administration that are going to completely and utterly decimate traffic even more. But they're like, hey, you guys are used to it by now, right? Yeah. All right. 2 more things really quick. I don't know if you people knew, but our state maintains a slush fund. They call it a rainy day fund for emergencies such as the pandemic. You know, we were supposed to be using that money, but it got used for other things like 2 new jets for our previous governor. Rainy day fund. We have one here. I don't know if your state has one, but we certainly have them. And it hit an all-time high. Our slush fund is $1.23 billion. And like a degenerate gambler, which is somehow how the powers that be actually behave, you know, they just can't have money in their pocket. A degen gambler will win a jackpot and he will not be able to leave, because the expression burning a hole in your pocket is real if you're a degen, you know, in any category. But you just like, you can't, that's how our government behaves. It has money. It cannot help but want to spend it on either trivial things, piss it away on plans that are going to go nowhere, companies that will never end up showing up, and various other projects that most likely will peter out. But it's supposed to be a rainy day fund, is your money to put aside for when the shit hits the fan. But this town thinks the shit's never going to hit the fan. So, you know, kind of proven wrong 3 years ago, wouldn't you say? But the most amount of money they've ever had in this rainy day fund, $1.23 billion. Everyone's getting like stupidly flush with cash here. now? I'd like to know. I'm going to take a little deeper dive into that and find out exactly where that money came from, because it probably came from me and it probably came from you. And one last thing to sort of lighten up the mood. Oh, wait. Smiths. Let me see what's on sale. You guys might want to know what's on sale at Smith's. I want to know. Get an idea what things cost up in here in Vegas. All right. Boneless beef rump or eye of round roast, which is, that is shoe leather. Oh my God, that is straight up shoe leather. The only way that is edible, even though that's in a roast, is if you cut it into small, like fajita level strips. That way you can chew it, because there's no way you're chewing that. But at the same time, it's protein, and I want to go purely on a carnivore diet. I really do. But it's going to cost me a lot of money, because I could eat a lot of meat. I want to go 100% carnivore, raw. And ice cream at night, so whatever. So buy one, get one free. Ain't bad. Let's expand this a little more so I can see it from all the way over there. All right, what do we got here? Got some oranges, got this dude. What up? Let's see. 2-for-1 avocados, unless they're them tiny ones. That ain't bad. Look at this frickin' chicken bird. A frickin' chicken bird breast is $2.49 a pound. That used to be 89 cents at El Super. So the price has gone up close to 300%. Oh my God. 3-pound bag of seedless mandarins, $3, $1 a pound. Don't even buy this stuff. Just please, people, stop drinking soda. Stop drinking, or pop, whatever you want to call it. Just stop. It is so, so bad for you. So bad. Just please stop. Oh, you got your lean cuisine. You got your, no BL. Got your Corona. Got your Modelo. Got your, I mean, when was it? Freaking, a thing of potato chips is like $5. Like, $100 is a new 20. What else we got on sale here? All right, never mind. Let's talk about Adele. Adele ran out at the end of one of her shows, because normally she stays around, does an encore. How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm Adele, yada, yada. She lost a lot of weight, huh? Look at that. She actually has a waist now. So she just jet. She said that her audience was getting rowdy AF, and she was just out of there. Like, she usually likes to hang out, unwind, do the wave, the, what do you call it, wave? At the end, that wave. But no, she was on one of her shows. She's just like, I am out of here. And that's what was out of Las Vegas. She said people were going wild, and she said she saw a boobie. I figured we'd end on some levity. She saw a boobie. A boobie fell out. No, a boobie kept falling. How does it keep falling out? I guess she was jumping up and down and up and down and up and down, and then a boobie fell out? Kept falling out? I mean, are you that offended? Rumor has it that Adele's Las Vegas shows have been getting a little wild lately. On Saturday, the British singer opened up about the effing raucous behavior that she's seen from fans at her concerts. Ooh, it looked like she's giving herself an excuse to back out of her contract. You heard it here first. At Caesar's Palace, Adele is 30. She's 35. I thought she was like 50. 35, how fans have been disruptive and needed to be removed from her shows, even revealing that one woman's boob kept falling out during her gig. I don't know what I have to say about that. Boobs offend her? But was she pulling it? I don't know. I wasn't there. But yeah, so I think she's planning on... I honestly think she's planning untanking it and just being like, hey, I just don't feel safe up in this arena here, so I might have to cancel my concert. Or maybe she's not. It seems to me like she's still packing the house. I mean, we've been in there during, when they let out. It seems like she's doing pretty good. I don't know. But she got to talk about boobs? Whatever. All right. I thought I was going to have time, but we did go an hour and a half. I'm going to have to show you this tomorrow. This is going to make your head explode. We're going to do science experiments tomorrow. I thought I had like another half hour or so, but I do not. We're going to do science experiments tomorrow. I'm going to show you some trippy stuff with the way your cell phone connects and it doesn't and this and that. But let me read a couple comments real quick. Oh, let me see if I missed any super chat activities. Oh, Steve, I missed yours. I do apologize. I must have been deep in thought. And this is why the dealers tell you to go home when you're up 100K or more. It's a lot. 100%. 100K. I mean, 1,000 is a lot of money. When you're making $13 an hour. Agreed. And thank you for that 5 banana. Sorry, I missed that. And let's see. Okay, I think I caught up on super chat activities. Soon, I'm having this my chat monitor put right out of sight here. So, all you'll see is this. Instead of this. I don't like doing that. You know what I'm saying? Just doesn't feel right. Oh, I'm getting a damn commercial. The dreaded commercial. Get out of my face. What? I'm not a big loser. That's what it just told me. Oh, okay. Because I do want to read. I got 2 minutes to read a couple other things. The beauty queen wave. That's what I was going for, Tom. Exactly. All right, well, I hope you found that entertaining. I hope you found that informative and interesting. So you thought everyone was getting rich and getting fat and getting juicy all up in the casino, but it turns out that is not the case. Not even the executives are making the kind of money. You hear about executives and other businesses making the big bucks. Here in Vegas, they're making 150K. To have the weight of the entire city bearing down on their shoulders, always under threat of fire like everyone else because it's a right to work state. So even their jobs aren't secure. They're $70 an hour all the way down to your average. I will contest that the true average is not $18 an hour. Average in, yes, in the literal sense. But truly, it's closer to $15 an hour, which is the same as what they pay in McDonald's. Very sad. This town should step up and pay people an actual living wage. And you wonder why no one wants to fix the bridges. You wonder why no one wants to clean the gum off things. You wonder why people don't want to take the extra step because they're barely making ends meet. And some of them might be a little bitter about it. But we're not, because we're here in Las Vegas. I love you guys. I'm going to invite you one last time to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell button to get notified when I do this again. Yo, on the way out with the 2 Bananamas. I appreciate that very much. And don't forget to do all the stuff. I appreciate the super chat. Click on those links. Start putting things in your Prime Day. Go check that out. And don't forget, F1. Link in the description to buy you a shirt to show your dissatisfaction with the current state of affairs due to F1. So F1. And on that note, Bror Fredrik out.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.